Hey, what's up motivators? Taryn here. If you're new to running, or maybe you're already in running, in both cases, a lot of people are thinking, well, what's a warm-up routine that I should be doing before running? There's a lot of blog posts and videos and TikToks and Instagram reels out there about the best running warm-ups to do, and I am sorry to say it, a lot of it is malarkey because there really isn't a lot of evidence saying that really you should even be doing a running warm-up. Now, this isn't to say that running warm-ups are all bad and that you should never do them, but the general approach that running has taken, that every single run needs to have a running warm-up done and there are best running warm-ups to do, that just isn't the case. We're going to save you some time and get you something that is a lot more customized to the nuances of your specific needs.
My name is Taryn Gazelle. In my 20s, I was overweight, unfulfilled, and couldn't even run to the end of the block. Over the following years, I found endurance sports, lost 65 pounds, won age groups, raced world championships, broke records, and trained and learned from some of the best athletes and coaches in the world. You too can use endurance sports to change your life and accomplish your fitness goals. You just need a system that's meant for us amateurs who want to be our best while feeling our strongest and healthiest. My company Motive offers that system, and I want to share some of the tips from it today.
Welcome motivators, let's dive right into it here, and I want to share some of the evidence because running warm-ups are just part of running culture. You join any running group and typically you're going to do a running warm-up. You go to the track and you're going to see a lot of running warm-ups. It's almost just a standard part of every single workout. I just want to dive into a few studies here just to show you what I mean when I say that running warm-ups aren't all bad, but they're also not the be-all end-all that everyone should be doing the same running warm-ups all the time. So this study right here was looking at the standard approach of running warm-ups about does warming up prevent injury in sport, and what does the evidence say? And basically there's just insufficient evidence to say one way or another that a running warm-up actually does what it says, that it reduces the likelihood of injury. It's not super clear. This next study, well, let's look at prevention of running injuries by a warm-up or a cool down and stretching. Like, this is expanding it into everything. And this basically said the same thing, that the intervention was not effective in reducing the number of injuries. What it did was it improved the effectiveness of the athlete to be knowledgeable of how to warm up and cool down. But really all it did was teach people how to warm up and cool down, not actually make people less likely to get injured. What this study said was it looked at the effect of a warm-up running technique. So this wasn't basically no warm-up versus a warm-up to see how the sprint performance was. But what this one said is that regardless of which technique you used to warm up, the sprint performance was basically the same. So it's not like there was one technique over the other that was better for everyone. It was just like, hey, people warmed up and, well, they did the same thing. And this was confirming that in just a different way. This was, instead of the run technique, it was the duration of the warm-up. A short warm-up versus a long warm-up. What this one said is that it really didn't change what the performance levels were. However, that's not to say that all warm-ups are bad. What we looked at here with this study is that the effects of low-load glute warm-ups, so this is light glute activations, making sure that the sides of our body and our butts are turned on, which is very important for people who sit at a desk, because as we sit at a desk or we drive and we sit in that folded 90-degree position, our butt tends to go to sleep. It doesn't like to activate as much. And it's very important for us to have that activated because this study said that a low-load glute warm-up was more effective at creating a more explosive jump performance because the athlete was more stable to be able to jump very effectively. So now you might be a little bit confused because probably what you've experienced is you feel better after a warm-up. However, the studies say that warm-ups didn't really reduce the likelihood of injury, but it also didn't say that it definitely didn't reduce the likelihood of injury. It was just kind of one or the other. And I ended with a study that said that explosive jump performance was better after a warm-up. So here's where I'm going to tie it all together with my belief on how people should warm up that is different than what you're hearing.
We need to take a quick second to thank a sponsor. Athletic Greens is a product that I use literally every single day. I like Athletic Greens as a replacement for a traditional multivitamin. Athletic Greens is made with whole foods. It contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, and because it is made from whole foods and you can mix it up as a greens powder in a shake or whatever you want, it's much easier for your body to actually absorb. If you go to athleticgreens.com/Taryn, you will get a free year's supply of vitamin D with your first purchase and 5 free travel packages. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Taryn to get yourself some Athletic Greens. Everyone that I know that's tried it has absolutely loved it, so you will too. Give it a shot.
First thing, do what supports your unique physiology. Whatever you feel needs to be warmed up and loosened a little bit and turned on a little bit, do that. I don't believe that everyone should do a warm-up that is prescribed to them by a running coach that wrote a blog post or did a YouTube video that said, here is the running warm-up that everyone should do and here's why. Because what that feeling is, where you say, hey, when I warm up, I feel a little bit better. That's largely just getting the blood flow moving. And I think the areas of blood flow and the stiffnesses and the impingements that everyone has is unique to them. So if your feet feel a little bit beat up, maybe you're somebody who needs to do some trigger point rolling on a ball. If you have very tight hips, maybe you should be doing foam rolling beforehand. Maybe you should be doing some hip openers. It's unique to everyone. Do whatever makes you feel good. If you generally just feel good at the start of a warm-up, don't feel pressured to have to do a warm-up for every single run. Well, the second point is that generally the studies show that there isn't one best technique or an appropriate amount of time to warm up that everyone has to do. Really, it's just do a little bit of a warm-up if you feel you need it. So make it as short as possible. If you only have a minute to do it, just do a minute. If you have no time, well, don't worry about it that much. I would say bring the amount of time that your warm-up takes down to a very reasonable level. Anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes is good, if you're going to do it at all. The third thing, and this is kind of gonna go against the first two things, it's if you are doing a very intense, explosive workout, if you're doing an intense run, you're doing an interval run with 30-second hill repeats, with 1 minute VO2 max intervals, or 8-minute VO2 max intervals, or tempo intervals. Those are very explosive running movements, which are very similar to that final study that we looked at where a max jump was aided by turning on the glutes a little bit. So in that case, what I would say is when you have an intense run, a run that you feel is going to be work, is going to be challenging, in that case, I would actually work to turn on your glutes a little bit. So in light runs, in easy runs, runs that don't feel like a ton of work, don't feel like you have to warm up at all, and even if you do, try to cut it down to a very small amount of time. But then I would encourage you for those workouts that feel like work to do a warm-up that is specifically about turning on your glutes, especially if you are a desk worker, because you need to just open up this tight area here that, you know, let's face it, when we get down into this kind of position where we're sitting and we are typing a lot, well, our hips are very folded, our body is very scrunched and everything is very tight, and we want to open ourselves back up. We want to get nice and open. We want to be able to spread out. We want to be able to open up and function really well. And by turning on your glutes, it's going to help you do that, and every foot strike you have is going to be nice and stable. To turn on your glutes, I will link at the end of this video to a video that will be over here in the corner that gives 5 minutes of glute activation movements that you can use for a running warm-up. You don't have to do all of these. You don't have to do the exact running routine. You can focus on just the glute activation and the movements that feel really good to you. But generally, it's a lot of like openers, hip openers, it's leg swings. But while you're doing those leg swings and those really common movements that are prescribed for a warm-up, what helps a lot is just putting your hands kind of at your love handles or at your side bum and just making sure that you're activating the glute as you are doing all of those movements, that you're turning it on, that you're feeling that butt muscle contract. And that's going to fire up those glutes, it's gonna wake them up a little bit, allow them to stabilize you when you hit the pavement. Thank you for watching, motivators. If you're looking for a training plan that incorporates these methods that is as good as a one-on-one coach but as inexpensive as doing it yourself, check out our Motive training app that covers triathlons, running races, duathlons, swim runs, and cycling events. There's a link in the description below where you can check out your customized training plan for free. Also, if you rather listen to these tips, we also publish these videos in podcast format on the Terran's Motive Method podcast, so you can check that out. And if you don't want to do either of those things, but you found this video helpful, hit us up with a virtual high five by smashing the like button below. Later, motivators.